Hello everybody, my name is Jared and today my video is going to be based on Melanie Martinez's K12. If you haven't seen that film, it is amazing. You should check it out. It's on YouTube. It's really good. You can also get hold of it in the deluxe version of her album. I actually have that, so that's what I'm actually using for reference. And this is a Speedpaint video where I draw one of my set that I did on TikTok, which was drawing every single outfit from K12. Now, when I say that, I did not technically draw every outfit in K12. I only drew a different outfit for every single song in K12. These outfits are the outfits worn by Melanie in each song. The one that I'm working on at the moment is the Strawberry Shortcake video. This is the swimwear outfit that she wears in it with the little cloak. And yeah, this is what I'm working on in this video. Now, as I said, I actually did all of these on TikTok, so you can see speed paints for all of these different ones on my TikTok if you want to follow it. It's just Mahaguro art. And yeah, pretty much everyone who follows my TikTok has seen this one. This is easily my most popular series on my TikTok, but I also do a lot of different speed paints as well as a couple of cosplay videos every now and then. But yeah, if you want to follow it, do check it out. For this series, what I did was I did a little kind of thumbnail sketch of each one of them, just carving out the silhouette and carving out the shape. I just wanted to make sure that I got the little elements of the costumes down, but not the details. So it's just sort of the shape of the costume and absolutely no detail. I did those really tiny, and then I stretched them to be really big, up to the size that I wanted to do each one, so they all matched size-wise. And then I went in with a more detailed sketch. I do all of my sketches in colour. I do them usually in blue because I don't really like any other colours. They kind of contrast too much for my eyes. Due to mental health reasons, I get overstimulated by things quite easily, so I try and avoid having things that are too intense when I'm trying to draw, because it'll just make me not want to actually finish the piece. So yeah, I use like a light blue and then I sketch it. So this actually is not done on Procreate, unlike most of my speed paints lately. This one is drawn on Photoshop. It's on the Adobe Photoshop suite. This one was done with my tablet. Honestly, hence the line art is not quite up to the same standard my Procreate line art is. There's a few reasons for this, but the main one being that, one, this was drawn a little while ago. It would have been about before we went into quarantine, so 4 or 5 months ago. During this time, I have been trying to recover this footage, because I actually lost the footage from this speed paint. But I did actually manage to get it recovered, yay, so you can finally see it in all of its beautiful glory. As you can see, I'm working on the line art here. This one is quite a detailed costume. It's very cute, very girly. I love this costume. It actually is one of my favourite costumes in the whole of K12. I think the shape of it's lovely. It's nice and soft and gentle and feminine without being super big and puffy, because that's not really my aesthetic drawing wise. And the pose I chose to give her in this one was this very like soft, vulnerable pose. The song itself is about, well, as far as I'm interpreting it, the song itself is about the sort of sexualization of women and the fact that women are held to a different standard of basically kind of like nudity and that kind of thing than men are. So women can't wear things that men would get away with at schools and things like that. Body policing, that kind of thing. So I wanted to give her that kind of pose where she's almost kind of being shamed. So her pose is very like withdrawn and she feels like she's being looked down on. So that's kind of the pose that I went for. It's very pulled in, hands over her own body and stuff like that. And then we've got the big fluffy cloak thing, which is honestly my favourite part of this outfit, and the big poofy curly bob hair. Really cute. Now, colouring wise, I obviously used as similar colours to the actual show as I could. All of the colours that were really similar to a different costume, I used the exact same colour as the other costume, just because it made the set look like they all sat together a little bit more. I tried to keep everything as pastel as possible. I really enjoy using pastels, and this was an excuse for me to completely be in my own comfort zone and draw soft, feminine, pastel-y things. Also, keeping it in a pastel sort of style means that the artwork doesn't have a huge amount of contrast, and I can make the colours kind of blend together very well, and it will be sort of gentle and won't be hard on the eyes. The art style I chose to draw this one in is a little bit more of a cutesy art style. It's a little bit more simplified than usual, and I definitely try to avoid making the character, well, Melanie's character, look too realistic. I wanted it to be really cutesy and anime. So she has these like really big eyes, really sparkly eyes, this kind of pouty little mouth, and this really round pointy face. I didn't focus super heavily on making it look like Melanie. I more sort of tried to hint to her features, so stuff like her gappy teeth, and her like kind of drooped down eyes. She's got the cutest facial structure. It's just like these really big doe eyes which are kind of like droopy, and these big long eyelashes. I kind of wanted to have those features stand out more than trying to make it look exactly like Melanie. I also kept her turned down eyebrows, so she looks very like sad and sweet. And yeah, I chose to give the character brighter green eyes, literally just an aesthetic point. I thought it looked good with the colour scheme that was already on the costume, and that's what I had the whole way through the series. And I gave her these big bright white eyelashes as well as white pupils. And again, the reason for that is just aesthetically. I thought it looked really nice, and I thought it drew more attention to her eyes. I actually do white pupils quite a lot. I think it looks really pretty. Shading wise, the entire thing is shaded using a multiply layer. So for each layer I added a layer which I set to multiply. I took a very pale pinky purple colour, and so it was nearly white, this colour, and then I just drew all of the shading on top. It's very simple, very easy, and a very quick way to shade things without having to pick new colours every time. This works particularly well with things like skin. It gives it a very like natural shade while also not just being instantly darker. Multiply, if you use colours that don't have a little bit of colour to them, can look really dark and really fake, so it's always good to have something like a really pale version of a different colour that contrasts a little bit. I gave it a sort of soft cel shaded approach. I didn't want to give really intense shading, but also I didn't want to render it. Rendering was definitely too much work for the fact that I was drawing an outfit for every single song in K12. So I wanted to keep it simple, something I could keep up with, and I didn't want it to be too time consuming. Other things I did is, you will probably notice here that I've actually paled out the line art just a little bit. The line art is actually a very light kind of, it's almost like sitting on a very dark brown. It's like almost sepia-y, a little bit towards the red colour. That's what I went with this one, because again it complements the pastels. The black is just too harsh in my opinion. And then I have this very like bright but a little bit blended out blusher on top. That's just on the skin to give it a little bit more life. I now actually do it over the nose as well, but here I just did it on the cheeks, above the eyes, and on the lip, and then I started work on the eyes. The eyes took a little bit longer. I actually don't do the multiply thing with these. It's just because I use a lot of different colours inside the eyes. I will go a darker green, then I'll do it with really dark green in the centre, and then I will do my shine colour, which is usually a very pale green, and I will do that for the eye pupil as well. And then I will take kind of a medium green to put little line flicks in, and that is just to kind of give the eye that natural shine. If you look very close up at eyes, you can actually see these little lines in them already. It's all sort of like a different coloured flicker all the way through. So that's just how I do the eyes. I do a multiply shade all the way across all of that on top, so across the white and the colour. And again, that's just to give them their 3D shape. And then I'm just adding some shading to the cloak. The cloak is not very naturally folded at all. If I was going to redraw this, I would probably study more fabric actually falling in that kind of way, because she's meant to be looking like she's being looked down on and she's lying down. But I don't think I got that effect very well. I think it just looks like she's floating, which I'm okay with, but that wasn't the intention. Then I add a little bit of shading to the hair. I don't do a huge amount of shading on the hair in this one, it's quite a simple shading style. If I was going to individually shade the hair how I normally would now, this kind of curly hairstyle would take absolutely donkey's years, and I didn't have the time for that. This was just a little side project, so I had something to do on TikTok, and this was just after I'd sort of started using my TikTok a bit more. So I just wanted to be able to make some content and make some like cute homage to one of my favourite albums. I was actually very lucky in getting to go to see K12 live. When she came to the UK, me and my partner got tickets. Frank was an absolute ride or die and went to see MELANIE MARTINEZ with me, even though he is not an enormous fan of her. We had a really good time regardless, and he was a total trooper and danced along with all the songs. I actually filmed quite a lot of the show, just like little clips, so if you're interested in seeing any of that, it's also on my TikTok. There I'm just adding some little embroidery details to the cloak, just these little swoopies and then the little coloured dots in the middle. It's almost like a kind of floral design. And then I'm adding the text in the background. This is just written out with a normal text font, and then I add a stroke to it to add that lighter colour in the background of it. And boom! That kind of ties all of these pieces together and makes them look really coherent and cohesive, like a little family. I actually have finished all of these now, so if you want to see the finished versions, here they are now. We have Wheels on the Bus, Class Fight, The Principal, Show and Tell, probably one of my most popular ones, Nurse's Office. I absolutely hated doing the hair for this one. Drama Club, Strawberry Shortcake, as you've just seen, Lunchbox Friends, one of my absolute favourite songs, OJ, Detention, Teacher's Pet, High School Sweetheart, probably my favourite outfit, and Recess. Thank you very, very much for watching, and as always, please remember to be creepy.